Okay. Do you want to introduce the show time? You want to host this week?
You know what? You go ahead and introduce. I forgot to freaking
Okay.
update the thing, so go ahead and do that. I'll update everything.
You didn't update. You're such a hurry to start the show.
I
Didn't you
wasn't
make
in a hurry.
sure?
What are you talking about? All right,
Because as soon as we
this is a
said let's
bit.
go
This
live, you
is a
said
bit.
let's. All right, we're gonna go live
This
right
is a
now.
bit. Don't
We're
lose
gonna
your
do it
cool.
live.
This is a bit. Don't lose your cool.
All right, we're here with Pythagora, and we are going to review a French film called The Brotherhood of the Wolf. It's 1999. Le Pacte de Loup, right? En français, s'il vous plaît. Time, you speak fluent French. Did you watch this in French?
See.
Now, I want to ask you guys.
Privacy contents have been updated.
Pythagora, the AI is out of. It's taking control of the house. Bert, you have to burn the hive down. No, it's going to take control of everything now. It's going to black you out, and the next thing you know, it's going to fill the fucking room with smoke alarm noises, and then you're just going to get confused. Pythagora, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. And I think the movie was actually 2001, not 99.
Thank you.
It wasn't one of the 99s that dominated that year.
The famous 1999s. Pythagora, let's talk a little bit about you. You're a guy on Twitch that likes to enjoy Twitch, but you don't. Do you stream? I'm not sure if you stream though, right?
No, not really. I mean, I'll join other people's, but I don't actually go on my channel and do anything. I've kind of, I won't say thought about it, but I've contemplated it a few times and just gone like with work schedule and all that stuff.
That's a healthy response.
Yeah.
Like, you're a mentally ill person if you say to yourself, oh yeah, I need a TV channel. Not only do I need a TV channel, I need a TV station. Not only need one, I need 3 to 4, right? So that's the healthy response. So how long have you been a fan of movies and film? And like, tell us a little bit about your experience, like enjoying cinema.
Yep. So, I mean, I won't say like most people, but like most people that like movies, it started fairly young. The 4 kind of like foundational movies, or 4 or 5 or so, that like, I guess formed my childhood were the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Okay.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Okay, I know that one very well.
Can't Buy Me Love.
Oh, okay. Who is in Can't Buy Me Love? I remember this movie. I can see the crimped hair.
Yep.
Right? She had curly hair, and then there was like I can see the film, I can see the song. Yeah. I remember that one.
And then like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And there's probably one other that'll come to me later, but like that kind of generation of like late 80s, like E.T. kind of era.
The big boys, John Hughes and Spielberg and all those guys that were heavy hitters then.
And then just, kept growing up and watching more movies and appreciating, some of them. It was really interesting where, this was one of those like revelations that I didn't realize what I was thinking or what I knew or didn't know until later on. But I always thought of director as the guy holding the camera filming things.
Right.
And maybe when I was like 25 or so, or somewhere around there, where I figured out, that's there's actually camera operators and there's cinematographers who decide how and there's all these lighting techs and booms and all. So the directors, I won't say not important, but they're sitting somewhere and they just yell go, and everything else should already be going. So like that kind of realization, and then getting into like, who does the score for this movie? Like that's real important. I can recognize, back in the day it was John Williams. I think these days now it's more like Hans Zimmer is kind of the big name, go-to name in composers.
Trent Reznor and Atticus Roser. Every fucking movie. I can't get away from them.
Yeah, they've done some big ones. And then like, I won't say recognizing the cinematographer, but watching movies, Roger Deakins, like if you look at his history as a cinematographer, it's like, that's a great looking movie. Yep, that's a great, like Sicario and some of the others that he's done. I can't think of here, but it's one of those, like if his name is on that movie, it probably looks amazing. So kind of recognizing and getting into those like behind the scenes details of movies, not just as a enjoyer of watching movies, but the process behind them.
The process,
kind of getting into that. My top 3 favorite directors are David Fincher, Christopher Nolan, and Denis Villeneuve.
Okay. You're Dune head.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those
Shout
where
out to my Dooners, everyone, one's in chat. And then I wanted to ask Time real quick, what is the Brotherhood of the Witch?
Does it say witch?
Yeah, we have to update it.
Oh my god! It's a new movie we're watching right now.
It's a brand new mashup.
It's sequel, yeah.
That would be sick.
It's in universe.
If we could mash up the Witch with Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about this. I'm going to let Pythagora introduce and talk about this crazy film.
Yeah. So for
Brotherhood
me,
of the Wolf.
it's weird where this is a French movie.
Right.
It's kind of strange for a good movie to be a foreign movie for me. Like a lot of the times, whether it's cultural or just because of the language barrier, it's hard to watch a foreign movie and enjoy it. But from the first time I saw this up until now, which has now been 25 years, it's incredible. Like the story is based on the true story of the Beast of Gévaudan, who was in like the mid 1750s, like 1760 or so. There were people just getting mauled in this region of France, and they didn't know what it was. They didn't know how to stop it. And this movie is like a fictionalized version of that, where a man is sent to find out what it is. He's a famous like naturalist, where but he goes and he hunts things, and he knows wild animals. He's got a Native American companion, which for me it's interesting that there are some people in the cast I recognize, but not that many, being that it's a French movie. But just the way it looks, the pacing of it. I've only seen it dubbed. I've never actually watched it with subs to hear the original actors' voices. But I think the subs are so well done that I've never wanted to try, because some of the voices are a little silly and funny, and that makes it fun. Some of them are well done. I'm assuming some of them are people that speak both French and English, so they dub themselves.
Subs didn't bother me. What bothered me in the version I saw was the fucking blurred out fucking circles and squares. Did you guys see this version?
No.
Was yours censored?
It was on Amazon Prime, and then I said, "Oh, this must be the Amazon Prime version. It must be fucked up." And so I went to YouTube because it's on YouTube Movies, right? So I had to like fucking find a real copy, But it's like whoever disserviced this movie by and everything they would, not just the sex stuff, any violence. Like if an arrow went into somebody, they would draw a large circle.
That's
blur
weird.
It out. You couldn't see anything. And like if you were seeing this movie only that way, you would hate this movie.
Yeah.
And I feel really disturbed, like whoever made that fucking choice.
Yeah, that's like censored music. It should be available, but it should be made very clear up front that's what you're getting. And you
I don't care if it's free.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like YouTube. I don't care if it's free. It's just like, if you're gonna do that, just be more subtle. Like cover it with a teddy bear face or something, or just like 2 teddy bears or something. Yeah. Because this movie, like the best part of this movie are the action and like it's a sensual movie. There's a lot of scenes in bordello. Yep. So it's like you have to see that stuff in order to get the vibe, and like they just kind of that annoyed me.
Yeah.
Did you see this movie when it came out? How did you discover this movie?
I know I didn't see it in theaters because I don't even know if it went to theaters in the US.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I honestly have no idea how I first decided to watch it. I know that I've had it on DVD since 2003 at the latest.
Right.
Because I remember showing it to someone around that time, so I had to have known I liked it and had it by that point. My guess is I picked it up mostly because of Mark Dacascos, who played Manny, the Native American Mohawk Indian in this. Because one of the movies that I saw before that is called Only the Strong.
Okay.
Which is one of those like teacher takes over a bunch of bad kids class and teaches them values and all that. He taught them capoeira, like the
capoeira film,
the dance fighting. And I'm like, that's such a
Vision
wild
quest for capoeira.
Right. but I was like, oh well, this actor's skilled martial artist. The movie wasn't bad for a B movie, and I just recognized the name. So when I saw this movie about a werewolf monster, had him in it, it was probably $7.99 at Walmart or something. I picked it up and watched it. I was like, this is awesome.
And then he's in John Wick too, I noticed.
Yes, yep. He was also Iron Chef America and a bunch of other stuff. So
he was one of the main leads for Double Dragon, which I enjoyed.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Now, Time, did you know about this movie until we started talking about it recently? Or this is a movie that's going to get buried by time. Like I remember I got it on Netflix in the mail, like when they used to mail people DVDs.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about this.
Never heard of this movie? And did you have any like expectations or like?
I did from you, and then it was quickly dashed and ruined because of you.
See,
and then it was uplifted again because of what I read online.
Okay.
So I watched the 4K restoration of it.
Yep.
Which looked pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it dubbed? Was it in French or was it in English?
It was in English.
Okay. The dubbing's not bad because a lot of actors did their dubbing.
Well, apparently the main guy, he's dubbed by Clive Owen, which once you know that, you
Samuel
can hear
Le Bihan.
Yeah, you can definitely hear Clive Owen talking, which is funny.
Cascos, Emile Descoings, Monica Bellucci, Vincent Cassel. Like I know who Vincent Cassel is.
Yeah. Vincent Cassel was in Ocean's 12 as like the laser dancer.
Okay.
And Monica Bellucci was, the Matrix, the Merovingian scene. She was in later James Bond movies with Daniel Craig. She's kind of the, sultry Italian lady. So, yeah,
right.
Her, Vincent, and Mark Dacascos were like the three people I knew watching this movie. They're honestly still the only three I know outside of this movie.
And then, like the director Christophe Gans, his claim to fame is directing Silent Hill films.
Yeah.
And he still has the sequel in production. It's been in production for 4 years, and that's the last we've seen from Christophe. But I thought the cast was really good in this movie. Like I liked Emily Descoings, Emily Descoings, the ingenue, the young actress. But I feel like they did a disservice with her English overdub because it didn't sound like the person that was reading her lines didn't sound like the same. It didn't sound like the voice came from that person.
Oh yeah.
Like I wanted a younger.
It wasn't at all. Yeah, it sounded like older lady.
Right? It sounded like an old lady.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you kind of take me out of it right now because it's a redhead, and I know Time was interested in that part of it, right?
I was.
Right? Where does she rank on your top 20 redheads that we've reviewed?
She doesn't rank.
She doesn't rank. Oh my God, so many redheads in the movie.
So many. There's too many.
Yeah.
And so this movie is for fans of Iroquois Franco martial arts films with supernatural elements, but not werewolves. I thought it was a werewolf movie, but it turns out the wolves are helping the French people fight the fucking what would you say the monster? What is the beast exactly? Because it looked like a donkey in a fucking suit.
So
that was cool that Jim Henson's people built that Muppet too. It was amazing.
Did it really?
I like that one. Yeah, it was a Jim. It
looks good.
Yeah, it's technically a lion in armor.
Okay.
Because when the brother, I don't know how early we're spoiling things, but when the brother came back,
you can spoil away. You can spoil away. This movie's old.
Yeah, when he came back from Africa, he brought a lion with him that had, I guess, puppies, and he picked one that
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
So yeah, it's not even a wolf, but he made it look so. I still
armored lion.
Yeah, I call it a werewolf movie because that's essentially what the monster is until you find out it's not. Like it.
It's a wizard movie.
Yeah,
it's a necromancer movie, and it reminds me. There's a book by a fantasy author called Glenn Cook called The Silver Spike, and the beast in that largely resembles it. There's a series called The Black Company, which is about it's a medieval mercenary series, and there's like wizards and shit. It's really interesting. But that's where that. So I'm wondering if that beast is like a well-known mythological figure in Europe, that it keeps repeating. Like the spikes on the back is a big thing about it. So I love the fact that this movie is original as fuck. Okay, you can't say, "Oh, I've seen Iroquois martial arts before like that before."
Mhm.
Like the Simpsons did not do this. Okay, like nobody has made a film like this. Okay, and like I don't know how much cocaine and champagne they went through, but it was a lot because like some of the decisions are crazy. But I love that they fucking go for it the whole time, and like they're not pulling back from like the craziness of it, and like. It's an interesting script. Like the language is sophisticated and the dialect, it's like very historically accurate to the time period. So they actually had somebody write it that knew what the fuck they were doing. And I think it's an interesting movie. Now, it was made in 2001 and there is no CGI that I could see, maybe very limited stuff or very basic stuff, whatever they could afford.
Towards the very end.
Very little. Yeah. And so they had to get by with practical effects and like so there's a lot of close-ups of like people being shaken like and body like fake bodies and but they did a good fucking job for what the time was. And like like if you're making an action movie that's original and it's like this, it's like I give credit for that.
Towards the very end when they fight the beast and he appears in different situations and he just moves here and there and he looks great because it's practical effects. But
I think it's a Muppet. I think it's a fucking Muppet under the floor and they're like holding a stick and like moving it around like under the
jumps off the side and kind of like maneuvers like kind of weirdly and that's where it goes CGI. But it doesn't look bad though. Even like in
they took the lesson from Star Wars of show don't tell or don't show the monster where. Like they light it in darkness, they kind of half cover it,
which
in
I love.
Like Hoth, right?
Yeah, so they do everything they can to favor bad CGI, and it works pretty well. I mean, it's when you watch it, you can tell like the color saturation isn't quite there, but they don't linger on those shots. They don't make it the focus of a shot. It's all very smart.
The small sets are beautiful. Frame that you see it looks fine.
Yeah.
Right. That was one the set is the star usually too. Like
the sets and costumes in this, like they're huge banquet halls and castles. Everybody's dressed all Victorian or Louis XV or like it's
the nines.
One of the things I really appreciate, and I'll call this a low budget movie. Maybe in France, an $8 million movie is the most expensive movie ever made, but as far as like Hollywood standards, that's chump change. But one of the things that gets me, I'll pick on Disney because I can punch up on Disney. Sure. But when you watch some of their newer TV shows, the costumes on those actors all look brand new, cheap, and crappy. When you watch this, all the uniforms on like all the French officers and military guys and all the people in like the ballrooms, they all look, authentic and well made. Some of them look like worn. There's different levels of like care shown to it. Like it doesn't look like assembly line brand new stuff on all the actors. It's really well done.
I want to share this trailer so people can see a little bit of what we're talking about because otherwise
while you get that set up,
do that. Are we going to get in trouble?
No, probably. But
do I just share Chrome tab or do I have to share what do I have to share? Entire screen or window? I always forget. I have 19 shows.
Just make sure it's not the censored trailer.
Yeah. Before we get to that, I am.
If they pull us off the air, it would be a blessing, Pythagora. What? Go ahead. What do you want to do?
I'm not limited. My PC died, so I had to move to my MacBook. So I'm just going to use my MacBook going forward for the podcast. But the limitations are, it's one screen, and I have four. I have four monitors for my PC, but I'm stuck on one screen.
That's not right. No man should have one screen.
Because of that, I can't see certain things. So Pythagora, thank you for the sub. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I saw that right now. Free sub. Thank you.
That's terrible.
But yeah.
All right, let's watch a little bit of this. This is the remaster restoration trailer. I hope this has the good elements of it. Let's for our international audience and those viewing at home. Fire. What a great trailer. That's a good trailer. You know why? Because it shows you a lot of things, but it doesn't like reveal the plot. And it gives you a context for the world, right? Because what a good trailer can do is bring you into the world and get you set for a story in that world. But I hate when they tell the story already. I hate that part.
And I saw that 4K restoration.
That's beautiful. That's not the version I saw.
That's really good.
I wish it was the version I saw.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed in there was it looked like it said selected for Cannes in 2022.
Right.
So was that some kind of like people voted on what movie?
No, they show it at Cannes, and I was reading that in the article. Let me see if there's anything about that. I mean, they'll just 4K restoration, director's cut version. Oh, and this is articles in French, of course. Yeah, of course. It's just they premiered at as an official selection, and it's just like a lot of fucking distributors like grease some palms and it's like, hey, Harry, you want this film over here? We're going to show it at Sundance. Unless you show Le Pack de Loups along with it, then I'm just going to show it somewhere else. And then so they will add it in order to like move Blu-ray.
Yeah, this is a movie where, almost anybody I talk to has never even heard of it. So to me, for it to get picked for Cannes, hopefully that means, and in the trailer it said, the cult film, which I guess that makes sense because it's not very well known, but I'll take anything to get it more, widespread. So if they picked it for a Cannes festival to get a little more eyes on it, I'll take it.
I agree. And like, this was a movie that would like go in and out of my consciousness over the years. I would forget the name of it all the time. And I would be like, oh, do you remember that wizard, King Louis the 19th film about Iroquois and sorcerer, and like people are like, no. I'm like, yeah, it's a real movie. And it's like, I think I'm like always The Company of the Wolf or something, but no, I'm glad that it's getting a second chance, and I would love to see it in a movie theater, but in French, like it's supposed to be, like with subtitles. Subtitles are not it's not like a big wordy thing. But you're going to enjoy listening to the real actors say the real words more than like even though the overdubs are pretty good. You still get like it engrosses you more when you can allow the actor to use their voice and their their breath work and stuff like to like draw you in, right?
I was going to switch to the dub version or the sub version, but my subs were just like not working. Like it was really bad.
I believe it. If you listen, at least you saw the 4K restoration. Okay. Like, what did you think? I'm like, I would be interested if you saw like a scene like on like I got to show you one of these scenes from the YouTube version with the fucking crazy bubbles and like watch this and like and then watch the real scene and tell me like
Flame mentioned that because you brought it up on your stream and I was watching it and I took a break and went to go talk to her. And she mentioned that, and I'm like, wait, what? I go, what are you talking about?
And it wasn't just like gratuitous stuff that they like. I mean, first of all, it's like, are we covering boobs up in 2025? Like, who doesn't know about boobs? Okay, that's not pornography anymore, and it never was. And then also, if you have an action movie with a monster, and every time the monster attacks somebody, you blank out the whole fucking thing because you don't want to see a wound.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie's not for your kids. So it's like, who are you protecting it from? And like the people you're protecting it from are not going to see it anyway. And the people who want to see it are just going to get abused. It's like, what the fuck are they thinking? Right?
Yeah.
I'm still angry about that. Angry about that. Because it is a fun movie.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I like, and the movie's very visually well done all throughout, but one scene that I, picked out in particular watching it through this time, after Gregoire sleeps with I don't know what her role is. Was that the brothel? But it was Monica Bellucci. She was like
she's the spy from the Vatican, right?
Yeah, but after, there's a scene where like she's about to stab him, and she's wearing a lace outfit and some big headdress, and it's like a very weird visual like scene, almost like a dream sequence, and that really reminded me of The Cell, which is another one of like my favorite movies with D'Onofrio, Jennifer Lopez, and Vince Vaughn. Like very like Tarsem Singh's visuals from that, all of his movies like The Fall or Immortals, but that one scene in Brotherhood of the Wolf was very reminiscent of
that was such a cool scene visually. Yeah.
And you know what? This film also reminded me of a little film called Highlander.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's the same film stock they use or the same camera work or something, but it's just like, I mean, it wasn't just because there's historical drama and stuff and sword play and stuff like that. It was just like the way it was filmed.
Yeah.
It seemed like it reminded me of that a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of good shots of like rolling over green hills and like snow and
beautiful.
Nature.
Where did they film this? Does it say in the wiki? Because like, did they film this in France?
I would assume.
Or is it all film set stuff? Because it is hard to tell.
I know the opening sequence where it's like rolling over before the girl gets attacked. Oh, yeah. I think some of that's like CGI set or CGI, effects where
studio stuff.
Yeah, but it rolls into a real location. I mean, I'm almost certain they filmed most of it in France.
I think it was filmed in a studio, most of it. I mean, some of the stuff was outside.
Yeah,
but like they had that one section where it was the ruins of where they had they burnt down the fucking
ritual,
the cult, right? Like there's a lot of like a cult. It turns out, surprise, there's a secret cult behind it all, like in all of these movies, right? Yeah. Shocker. Where the fuck? It doesn't say where they filmed it, but I would love to know, like. I feel like maybe at Studio Canal they made it, which is like the big that's the big French media outlet, right? Public television, like BBC, right?
So we're almost a half hour into this, right?
Yeah.
And we have not brought up the craziest thing about this movie.
What?
I can't remember what I Googled, but I Googled the name of the movie, Brotherhood of the Wolf, and then I wanted to know something else. So I went back to it, and when I went to add to it, the word came up. Bloodborne.
Oh, yep. So was it Elvis the Aliens?
Yeah. So then I clicked on it, and it said that this movie was inspired, inspired.
Other way around.
Yeah, it inspired the game.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
But you see a lot of it, and then
you see it though, right?
It's you pull up the movie poster. Look at their jackets.
Yeah.
Like the leather like cuff up to the nose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The duster even split in the back so they can do kicks.
Even the Monica Bellucci's outfit at the very end when she's in a little area, that little ritual area, and she walks away and she's wearing all black and that little hat and everything. That's like one of the outfits straight out of the fucking game. It was crazy.
This game would have made a sick open world game, right? Just because it's different. Like most open worlds are set in the same areas, and like it's nice that it's a little different.
Well, yeah, and the other thing I liked about this that kind of ties into Bloodborne, because that's one of the videos like I'll either show people because it's like, oh man, like they love the Dark Souls games, they like Bloodborne. Yeah. It's like, well, I've got a movie you might like then. So I kind of backdoor the movie into that. Yeah. But that Elvis video is good because he talks, because I don't know much about the Bloodborne games, but he talks about how like the weapons from Bloodborne are like, this movie is like got all like they're fighting in that like ring, and it's like the dual Wolverine claw type weapon.
Yeah.
When Gregoire is like fighting in the ruins, he's got those like short swords that spin in his hand. Obviously the bony like whip sword that Vincent Cassel has is crazy.
That was weird. That was cool.
Yeah. For a movie from 2001, I can't think of anything else outside of Wolverine and claws.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody like spin swords like that in their hand or the whip chain. So the crazy weapons in this set it apart from a lot of martial arts movies, a lot of action movies. I think the fight choreography was also really well done. From Mark Dacascos taking on like bunches of people to when they're fighting the wolf and they're all the like predator style traps they're using. Like it's really well done there as well.
Yeah, I like that it's all boss battle based too, right? I could see just like a lot of Capcom like level design and stuff. Like it's like like when like he's on his revenge arc, right? When he finds out that Manny was killed by the brother of the girl he's trying to riz, right? And then he goes on his revenge arc. And like just that whole sequence, it's just like the way they lay everything out. It feels like a video game map for some reason.
Yeah, very like stealth takedown based, and then like Arkham style like fighting groups. The other weapon I forgot to mention that was really cool was because the brother pseudo has one arm. his flintlock pistol with like the brace that curves under his tricep.
Yes.
That's a really cool like weapon from this movie. So
who wrote this fucking movie? I'm trying to find the name of the writer, and it's just like there's no writer.
So that
did the director write the whole thing?
The weapon right here that this guy has, the bone one, whatever.
Stefan Cabell.
Yeah, Christophe Gans, written by Christophe Gans.
And Stephanie Cabell. Yep. Let me see who this person is. Yep. I'm sorry, Time. Go ahead.
The weapon this guy uses, and it's like a whip, whatever. In Bloodborne, it's a cane, and it's like the same. It works the same way.
Right.
So when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, it's the threaded cane. And then the gun that you brought up, it's the blunderbuss, and like he shoots it like it's like such a small. Not a small gun, but it's like wrapped around his hand and he shoots it. So like as soon as I saw those two things, I was like freaking out because I'm a huge fan of Bloodborne. So I was like, this is so fucking cool.
I'm trying to find out what else this guy wrote. It's just like a bunch of other movies, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
The Stone Council. I don't know what that is. The Astronaut. I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I think this guy's really innovative, and like maybe the director was really the strong hand in writing it, and it seems like he's really good at world building, and I can see why they picked him for Silent Hill, which I like the first Silent Hill movie.
Yeah, the first one's really
I think
good.
It's really entertaining, and like hopefully he can like bring it back, or I don't know why they pulled it, or maybe who knows. It's all wild stuff, but
But I did just see the budget for this movie was $29 million, so not quite as small as I thought for a foreign movie. That's pretty solid, but it more than doubled that at the box office, which is also really crazy for a small film to get $70 million in 2001.
Right. No, and like it earned its cult status because I doubt it was in theaters, maybe in LA and New York for a short period, and then I think that was really when Netflix was starting to get popular as far as like people accepting the concept that you could like mail your DVDs backwards and forward and they would get to where they're going. And like, that's where I saw a ton of like these more underground movies, and it was great that you could get like 4 at a time and constantly have them come and go. That's when mail used to be fun to receive. Now it's just a nightmare. I hate that.
That's 80% junk.
99% junk. There's no checks in the mail ever.
No, never checks.
So Time, what do you think about this movie in general, or like likes, pros and cons, or what do you want to start? Like, what made you upset about it?
This I was talking to my wife Flame about this, and I was telling her, I was trying to explain to her
my super mod.
My wife, it's my wife.
Okay, but you should say Prag super mod and my wife.
No,
right? Because the super mod is more important.
No, what the fuck? No, it's
of course it is.
So
we're trying to
explain to her this movie, and I said in Bloodborne, because it's that's what it feels like to me. You run around, you kill monsters. There's story here and there. You talk to NPCs. They explain stuff around around the world. That's what it is. To me, this movie was like Bloodborne in the sense that instead of being surrounded by monsters, you were surrounded by NPCs, and every half hour they took a break to fight, and then that was it. So I didn't like that part because I thought this movie had a lot of good action.
Have you played the game called The Council?
No.
Do you know about that game though? Have you ever seen it? It's always on sale. I'll continue what you're saying. I'm going to show you what you might remind you, but please continue.
So like, I like the look of this movie. I like the feel of it. It was captivating. The setting, everything about it was good. It's just that the parts I really liked were like the action scenes and them dealing with the beast, and then there was just a lot of not doing that, and that's when I felt like the movie kind of dragged. And I just felt like the first half was like way too long to get to the point. But there were so many good things about this movie, like so many like good like little ideas or whatever that I really enjoyed, and it didn't click with me. Yeah. So that's why I didn't enjoy this movie as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
At the beginning when it started, I was like, oh my God, I'm excited. This movie looks awesome. Before making the Bloodborne connection, I was like, this looks awesome. Everything about this is super cool. But again, there's like
you know about this game?
No, I don't. Thanks for cutting me
Well,
off.
if you want more of the things you didn't like from the Brotherhood of Wolf, please get down to the PlayStation Store and download the Council, because it's all the fun and none of the action.
What is this? I've never seen this.
It takes place in like the same time period as this movie, and like George Washington's in it, and like you go around solving murder mysteries. It's an interesting game.
This looks like a scuffed version of The Order.
It's like a scuffed Telltale. Have you ever played those Sherlock Holmes games?
Yeah.
Or seen them before, like from like Broken Frog or whoever makes them.
Mm-hmm.
But these games are kind of interesting. Like if you want something in between a walking simulator and an action game, because it does have cool images and graphics and cool puzzles, and like it is pretty. It's not bad.
Missed a little bit of action.
Yeah, but it, you think about QuickTime events more than like. You don't like have to. It's mostly like you go around interviewing the people in the house and like doing detective shit. Right?
That is one thing I noticed about game. Yeah, about rewatching this movie, because the first thing I did was look up the runtime to figure out where I needed to set this to rewatch it. And I was like, 2 hours and 20 minutes. I would have put it at like an hour 47. I thought it was much shorter than it was. And I had
no idea it was almost 3 hours long when I
rewatching it. I did feel like there was a lot of slow pacing. The first half, like I've seen this movie. I watch it about every 2 years, 3 years maybe. Right. Like it's on kind of my longer rotation. But yeah, it's one of those where I've seen it a few times now. So the first half really slogs through.
There's obstructions to the audience, right? And part of it is the script is very, like, the language is used. It's like it's hard to follow the stories a lot of the time, and that doesn't necessarily have to be. And also the runtime is too long. Like, I feel like if they made the show nowadays, and this is a great idea, AMC, call me. Let's make a TV reboot of this. We'll do the whole thing as a TV show, and we'll tell it over the course of 3 seasons. And like we'll go to the Americas with Manny, and we'll go to the different fucking parts of the world, right? And we'll do more monster hunting stuff, and there'll be less of the fucking blah, 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 blah.
And in between seasons 1 and 2, we'll do a prequel season about how Manny became a grown up, the last survivor of his tribe.
Yeah,
it's the prequel season.
Yeah, it's easy.
But, I think the fact that it's based on a true story is, one of the cooler things to me, because this is one of the craziest, folklore legends. So, being able to tell people that, I think, helps sell it. The tie into, the Bloodborne games and that kind of stuff helps sell it.
It's visually cool.
Like,
it's very cool, but they just need to, instead of just overdubbing it and blurring shit out and all that stuff, make a non-director's cut where you cut out some. And I don't hate to be this guy, because I usually like the plot and this world building stuff, but you can have that in what I'm also pitching, which is the video game, which comes out with the TV series, and you have more stuff. Like, imagine if they made a really high quality. Imagine if Machine Games, who did the Indiana Jones game that came out recently, did a fucking game like this, right? And like you had but it was violent, like Bloodborne, and you had boobas, and you had all the real mature stuff. So like, people could like relate to it, and it wasn't like tamed down. And you have that would be a really cool world to live in, and I just love the world building.
Imagine the character creation where you get to put on like tricorn hats and different colored duster, and
there's another. Go ahead, Tom. I have another game I was thinking of.
There's one thing I didn't like, and it's this guy right here when he did the reveal of him having the arm, whatever, his arm's working now, or whatever they did. When he revealed it to that girl, that was fine, but I feel like he wasted it. He should have revealed it in the fight that he had.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he was like, "Oh, look, my arm works," and this and that. Yeah. And then when he
had to go rape his sister just to make sure everyone knew he was a bad guy, right? Like, I already knew you were a bad guy. That was a little crazy. That was a little overhill.
The other thing that gets me is there's a couple things. One, what's the excuse for those long fingernails? Because you take the arm out. We know you take the arm out because when you're with the beast, the arm is out. So there's no reason. It's not like your arm has been tucked behind your back for 6 months and your nails grow like that. Trim your nails, buddy. That it just has to be more uncomfortable. The other thing is
nails.
Yeah, I've slept on my arm before, and for the first 5 minutes, when I wake up and recover, my arm's useless. It's floppy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he took the brace off his arm and he was fine. And I was like, no. Either your arm, like you can't have both worlds with this. Either the arm is fine, so you shouldn't have those nails, or it's not fine, and yeah, the nails make sense. But you can't pick and choose the details here. So that always draws me out of the arm reveal scene where I'm like, the logic of this doesn't check for me.
That doesn't work.
You guys see this game? Do you guys know about this game?
Greedfall? This looks cool though.
This is more tri-corner fun. There's a lot of like this is definitely inspired by this movie. There's a lot of the same stuff going on, like the Native American magic stuff, and like this just got remastered, I think, for PS5 or whatever. I think Dark BMXers played this game. I feel like I watched him play it. But it's a janky game. So like if you expect like it's not a AAA game at all, but it is definitely a double B or maybe a single A. And like it's fun because it's a different environment and like it's not bad. It's not bad. I'd love to see the sequel to this when that studio gets their shit together.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's going to benefit the same way that Kingdom Come Deliverance did, because now that they have the money and they can like go do it big style. So check that one out. It's probably free on Game Pass at this point. It's from a French studio, so that's why I think it's inspired. It was inspired by that. I think it's from Spider, which makes all these weird janky RPGs. Like I don't know if you know about this company, but they make a weird RPG every year that's like not set in like traditional Dungeons and Dragons settings, but it's interesting. They usually come out on Focus, right? That's the distributor of note of the AA game, right? Right?
Oh, Greedfall 2 came out already.
It did?
Yeah.
What?
September of last year. September 24th.
Shut the fuck up.
That's what it says, at least.
Let me see. I had no idea.
Oh, it's an early access. I mean, it still counts. It's not even by the same publisher. That's weird.
What?
Yeah.
What is happening?
That's super weird.
It looks like it does not look good, bro. They probably bought the license.
Had to.
Here, watch. I'll share some of this nonsense. JC's going to be so angry at us, but you know what?
JC is currently on vacation right now.
JC's swimming.
Yes.
Listen, you know Mitch, but we also have Mitchell, and so we brought him in, and we thought the new puppy would like help the older dog want to have more fun, but it just drove him towards the pool. So this is this game, but this does not look even as good as the other one because the character models look so janky here. This is sad.
His head twitched all crazy.
This is so sad. All right, you guys want to sum up and review this film, The Brotherhood of the Wolf?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other things you'd like to discuss? The cinematography, the costumes, we discussed those. We discussed the actors and the actresses. Did we miss anything? Is there any, like, what do you think about the music? I think the music was very effective and like it sufficed. And, I think it to make a essentially a mid-budget film with action sequences that are like this. I love like the scene in the cellar with when the beast is like, cooking through and like, the levels and like you're breaking through and like there's the verticality. Always having verticality in scenes is good, right? Like if you have your sets where there's like hills and, there's ups and downs, like I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does a good job making almost all the fights feel different. Like there's that first kind of like carnival fight. Then there's, well, I guess first there's.
And by the way, those guys were right to like try to get that witch off the battlefield, right? Well, because like he saved them, and the whole time that was like the fucking Beastmaster. And
well, and the woman is the reason Manny's dead. He saved her, and then she killed him. So he brought about it. So yeah, it's definitely a. I don't want to say hubris fight, but it's that fight in the rain when they're all like wet leather and everything. That's really good. Then there's the carnival fight. Then there's like each fight feels really different. The predator fight is really cool. Yeah. So like it doesn't I don't want to pick on John Wick because I like that. But like all the John Wick fights are like gunshot point blank range gunshot point blank. So like all those kind of feel repetitive. And then they, with the second movie, they started throwing, okay, cars. We're going to hit people with cars. Like that's, But I thought this movie, the choreography in all the fights was really good. All the fights felt different. Some were at night, some were in the day. One was in rain. Some of them were, 1-on-1. Some of them were 2 and 3-on-1. So it really did a good job of making each fight its own thing.
Yeah. I really liked every fight scene. And like you said, they're all different. When they fought the beast and they did all those traps, those were so cool. And then it just led to Manny fighting in the next area, which was so that whole little section was like easily my favorite part of the movie. It was so cool.
Yeah. Well, and the other question I wanted to ask, because I always had my idea of what this scene was, and then I want to think it was that Elvis the Alien video where he said something else. I was like, oh, I never thought of it that way. So the scene at the end where Gregoire is fighting, I'm going to call him Vincent Cassel because I can't remember his character's name, but with the chain sword, like the very last move where Gregoire's sword, his short blade, is tied up, wrapped around the bone blade.
And then he pulls it towards him.
Cassel's like, look, and he pulls it, and his throat's already been cut, so I'm assuming he's probably going to die from that. Then he pulls the blade. He's trying to pull his blade back. Gregoire lets go of his, and it flings it back into Vincent Cassel's stomach and kills him. I always thought that was him making a mistake, and Gregoire's, deciding to let go of the sword, because you'd assume most people would hold on to their weapon. Him letting go was unexpected, and that's what they explained it as. Vincent Cassel knowing that he was, pulling the sword into himself and allowing himself to, die to be with his sister, who I guess he thought was dead. And I'm like, I didn't think of it that way, but I guess I wanted to ask, what was your interpretation? Was that intentional, or was it him losing the fight? I thought he was planning to kill Vincent to kill Gregoire to show his sister that he was the victor. But the other interpretation was that he was dying to be with her instead.
Do you have an answer? Okay. Yeah. I actually
this
do
is
have
for
an answer.
you.
I actually do have an answer. It's for both of us.
No, go ahead. I don't know.
So,
I really don't know. I hadn't thought about it.
The only reason I have an answer, and I think I know what it is because I remember this part specifically. Because I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. So he gets stabbed, whatever, and then he says, he's like, he mentioned something about like how she saw this, or he references his sister.
Yeah. He's like,
in the
look.
prior. Right, yeah. In the prior scene to this whole little this fight and everything like that, when he's with his sister, she has the blade, and he's like, "Stab me" or whatever like that, or whatever she says, and she can't do it. And he's like, "It's easy, you can do it, whatever." So he kind of like references like, "Yeah, I can be stabbed, like whatever," but it doesn't happen. So that's what I kind of think it's like a callback to that. You know what I mean? So that's why it kind of made sense to that, even though she's physically not there, and obviously she's dead. That's how I kind of took it. Like, look, like telling her, like, look, I can die. Like, you could have killed me. You could have stopped this, but you didn't. So,
well, and she's not dead because then she's healed with the potion, and so he thought he killed her or she was going to die.
Yeah.
But like I said, I when I heard that, I had to rewatch it to see. I was like, well, I don't think either interpretation's wrong. I think whichever one you think is right, there's enough evidence to support both. So you can agree or disagree, but I can't say one is wrong. I can't say my mind was changed and I had been thinking of it wrong this whole time, but I also can't say that interpretation is wrong because mine has more evidence to support it. So I just think it's interesting that after 20 years of knowing this movie and having seen it at least a half dozen times, somebody threw me that curveball, and I had to reevaluate, and I was left with both options being valid.
Nice. Do you guys know about this movie that Fox Mulder, friend of the show, 81, says? The Cursed. It's another period werewolf movie. I'm going to check it out because it sounds really interesting. You guys know about this from 2001?
Ooh, I do want. Yeah, that's the one where they forge the silver teeth?
I don't know. I
have heard
about it today for the first time. Okay. Well,
yeah.
That's another fun one that we can watch if we're still in the mood for this variety of film. Do we want to put our final ratings and reviews in now?
Yeah, go ahead. You go first.
Oh, I go first.
You go first.
I love a movie that tries and takes chances, and this movie could have been horrifically bad. It has so many moving parts. The script is very complicated, so many action sequences, and like it's an amazing film for $26 million, and I strongly recommend it. And like, you're going to have to overlook some jankiness, but I think that's charming, and I like the jankiness, and I know it comes from, the 90s, and like, it's not going to be slick. It's not going to be like Disney made it, and it's not going to be everything's ducks in a row. And like, you're going to like different sections, and like, you're going to get bored during parts, but you're going to really enjoy hanging in there, because it, the quieter, softer parts are not crazy long or anything like that. And it is good to have that element of romance in the film, and some intrigue and a mystery, right? Because it is a detective story. But I feel like just like the communication was not great, and maybe it's the dubbing, or I don't know. Maybe they can innovate the next time when they make the animated series, which is another thing I'm pitching today. So we have the video game, we have the animated series, and then we have the full reboot of the entire storyline. AMC, just call me and we can do this deal on Monday, just and like I can start work.
Yeah.
I'll get this show out. I'll make this showtime. I'll make the show, and it'll be a good show, and people will have a lot of fun.
It'll all be in French.
So I give it a 83, which is good, which is really good for me. And watch it. Check it out. It's free. I mean, you're going to get mad if you watch it on YouTube, because they blur out all the action and stuff. So like, find the good 4K version.
I think too.
It's on Tubi, but I feel like they're going to do the same wild shit that Amazon was doing to me too.
I got to find that version. Like, that sounds so funny.
But I suggest like check out the YouTube video just to like watch the beginning to see if you fuck with it at all before you like go the further and you want to spend to stream or buy or procure from a nefarious means or whatever. Just like watch the first sequence and like see if you can fuck with it. I think it's fun.
So I agree with Prag on a lot of things. I enjoyed watching this movie, but I thought the movie was okay. There were so many things I like about this movie, like as far as the settings and the costume design, the way the world is. I loved all that stuff, but it didn't flow like I wanted it to. And like I said, there were just little nuggets here and there that you see these ideas and you see what they're trying to do, and you're like, that's awesome. But they just don't do it, or it's not fully fleshed out. But I did enjoy watching the movie. So for that, I'm going to give it a 72, and I would recommend this movie.
Okay. I would say, because I picked it, you might expect my score is going to be higher. It is. I give this 89. I agree with Prag that like trying and doing a good job and kind of being earnest gets you a lot of points. The CGI is never bad. Sometimes you can tell it's there, but it's never egregious or cheap. Like, it doesn't feel like The Flash or some other movie where like there's no reason this bad CGI should be there. It's not like tastefully enjoyable bad CGI. This is pretty good CGI for 2001. They lean into the strengths of the CGI they had at the time. The cast is great. The costumes are great. The dialogue's great. The action's great. Cinematography is great. Like every piece is about as good as I would expect for an American film, and the fact that this is French somehow gives it a little more weight in my mind.
You know what they're gonna say? Pythagora, they invented film.
Yeah,
the French invented cinema, and they're getting so mad. You're gonna get so many letters, Pythagora, and we're gonna forward hate mail.
Yeah. I mean,
and send them in French, please, and I'll read them to him.
But yeah, for being like I do agree that, and it's interesting too, because it was 2001. You would think, or I would think at least, that this would be like a 97-minute movie. Like,
right.
The fact that it was allowed to be this long is admirable, but it's also a weakness to it. So I do think there's a trimmed version out there that's a little bit better for the audience that may not appreciate the slower pace. But yeah, it's definitely, like I said, one of my like top 5. I filtered under horror just because it's a little gory, a little kind of scary, but it's definitely one of my favorite. Like, when people think they, are open to a movie that's a little bit weird, this is kind of one of my go-tos to show them.
Right.
Hey, here's a weird movie that there's really not much else like it.
Nothing like this. Yeah. Like, you think you've seen everything. Like the other movie I was thinking of, like the 13th Warrior. Is that the one where the Viking ends up in North America? Or is that a different one? That's
the reverse. It's where
That's
Antonio Banderas is like a Spaniard,
right.
Egyptian.
Oh yeah, that's
kind
the
of Muslim
Grendel
warrior.
Beowulf,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But then there's this other. I think it's called Pathfinder or something. It's
Yeah.
about a Viking that ends up in North America and like is battling with the
Was that
local,
Carl
Iroquois or something.
Urban
That's an
or
interesting movie.
James
I think
Caviezel?
I don't remember. I don't remember who the main actor. I just remember that being in
Yeah.
like it's a different, unique place. Like when you take a unique character and put them in a unique place, it's just like it opens up. Like I'm gonna pay attention more because like I already know like if you throw a fucking wizard into medieval period, like there's certain expectations of what's gonna follow, and like science fiction is the same thing. Like there's certain
Here's a
things that have to
rom-com.
happen.
Let's see when the the best friend and the girlfriend fall in love. It's like I know the beats of a rom-com.
What's going to happen in this movie? You don't know what's going to happen next, and that's why you keep watching even through the stodgy parts. But like, yeah, you want to rate it? Oh, you gave it a 89. Okay, I think we did the job. I think we did it, and we're just perfectly on 9 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
CJC, I can do things. I want to make an announcement to the community. I have to announce that, unfortunately, your dad might like this, has been postponed until Tuesday.
It's been canceled.
I mean, listen, there's a problem in the otter tank, and there's a problem with the otters, and like we're working on it. Some local wild animals have been getting into the water in the otter experience, and like we're fighting them off. Also, I want to announce that Ellie Benelli and I have a new show coming out. It's a cooperative FIFA EAFC show. That's probably going to premiere on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, probably next week. We're going to meet up tomorrow and flesh it out, but I think we're almost ready to do that. And then what else? I think that's it.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to announce, Time?
I'm going to be streaming pretty soon. My PC looks
from
like
your fucking
it's
cell
fixed.
phone?
No, my PC looks like it's fixed pretty soon.
It's
been going good. All I had to do was replace the hard drive. Everything's fine. Yeah, seems like it's going good.
You have any special treats coming up that you want to stream, or like any games? Like you're a Monster Hunter guy.
I am a Monster
Hunter. Are you going to stream that? Because that's new, right? That would be a great thing. And then people could play with you in the community. Like I'll play with you on your stream.
I have to pick up my PS5 Pro and lug it into the room. So once I do that, because it plays really good on the PS5 Pro, but nothing else.
Get a capture card and a long cable.
I have to go to the living room. That's too long of a cable.
Flame Princess can step over it. She'll love it. She'll love stepping over your fucking LAN cables, bro.
Yeah, she's gonna love that shit.
That would be crazy. You're right. I can do that because I live alone in a bungalow, but you can't. It's like I don't like fucking capture card gaming either. It's just like something about it is like I like the big screen.
It's on the wall too, so I don't have to
stream Monster Hunter from the PS5 and do it janky style. And like, is it crossplay?
It is actually. It is.
And then you could use Video Ninja to like, maybe. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, all I have to do is bring it into the office, and I should be fine.
Pythagora.
I should pull off the wall. So yeah.
Tell us about your new show.
I don't have one.
What?
I do participate in Boys Night with Saffron, Magical Sardo, Fidelix. So we'll play mostly Call of Duty, Warzone, Black Ops 6, things like that. So.
Should I shout out Saffron? Because that's where people can find you in that community all the time in the Discord.
Don't shut her out.
We love SV. She's one of my
we're rating her right now.
Live partners. Right now. Is she streaming?
She is. It's Boys Night.
Yeah, it's Boys Night.
Oh, it's perfect. Then we can raid right into Boys Night.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's just a perfect episode.
It is.
Right?
Yeah. So
thank you. Anything else you want to do? Are we rating out? Oh, you're welcome.
I'm glad you both were positive on the movie. Maybe not ecstatic, but
you know what?
Very well regarded.
Next time you come on, and I hope there is a next time, which we'll try to schedule you, of course. But there might be some negative comments said about movies here, and like you just have to roll with it because it can be very hurtful. But you just have to like power through it, and like you're gonna sit in that emotion for the rest of the weekend. But like. We learned through many episodes that we can overcome anything as the power of the over friends.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
What's the next movie? Wait, what are we doing next week?
Is it Nosferatu? JC's pick?
We just did Nosferatu.
It's the old one. It's the old one. The Werner Herzog one.
That's right. Is that the one next week?
I think so, yeah.
God. Okay.
Have fun with that.
Yeah, we're
nice.
Gonna love it.
All right. Now, this is the question I have for you, Pythagora. Do you have your upload It should say 99% uploaded.
He's good. He's golden. Or
You're
as soon
good?
as I end it, yeah. Thank you, everybody. We're reading out now. Goodbye.
Good night.
Okay, I think that worked. I don't know. Have to look and I have one screen.
Sometimes we just stay live all night and just like we can't move from our seats.
Yeah, I would say it looks like
Because
it's
it's
still
bad
recording
stream.
according to the screen here.
It's still recording. Yeah. Hold on. So I gotta.
It's a little
hold on.
janky.
I gotta go over. I gotta go over. Hold on.
He's
hold on.
fine. He's doing it.
And then I gotta stop.
And then